hold things loosely because things change. People are weird, you know?
Yeah, we are.
We're weird. Yep.
Yeah. The people that you have aren't yours. They're God's. God's going to take them in different directions, and that's okay. I just love that Story Hill, for maybe 100 people now, is people's first church. We started a church that ended up being day one of somebody's faith legacy for their family. And that's really cool. That's something I just never get over. I prepare this conversation in my head, how I'm going to negotiate with this guy that I've never met through a wall that I'm talking to him. And he's like, you're going to go in the dark tonight. And I was like, whoa. Closes the door, lights go off, and I'm just in the dark. There was a moment where I'm like, you know what? I think God might be using everything that he's done in my life to prepare me for this one thing. Then I got to see for the first time, and it was like a feeling that I'll never get again.
Mila, do you have a favorite?
Probably Waymaker.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's a
Good one.
Yeah.
that one actually was like special in my life at Crossway, the
Ooh,
song
okay.
Waymaker.
Do you have like a story behind it?
Yeah, so I was at Elmbrook Church.
Okay.
And everything was kind of like falling apart there. The role that like I was hired for, which was to launch a campus, didn't end up working out just because of things that were outside of my control.
Yeah.
So I ended up having a conversation with Jason at Crossway.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, basically, how can I work for you?
Yeah.
And he's like, do you want to work for Crossway or do you want to leave where you're at? And I'm like, both. I think the answer is both. And ended up going to Crossway, and then we were sitting in a staff chapel, and for worship they sang the song Waymaker.
Nice.
And the lyric, even when you don't see it, even when I don't see it, you're working, even when I don't feel it, you're working, was like, oh, I was mad that I had to leave where I was at to go to Crossway.
Okay.
But then in that chapel, I realized that I would be a better man and leader because of it.
Gotcha.
And it was kind of through the song Waymaker.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I love when there's like stories behind the
Yeah.
songs. Those make it super fun.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for tuning into the Campfire Council podcast. My name is Miranda, creator and designer of Sown in Strength. I am passionate about witness and evangelism. There is nothing more important than knowing Christ our Lord and Savior and making him known, the Great Commission. I aim to inspire Christians to confidently and effectively wear and share their faith. Go check out sownandstrength.com or Sown in Strength on Instagram. You can see all the current offerings of clothing and accessories, as well as blog posts that will encourage you in your walk with Christ. Don't forget to use code CAMPFIRE in all caps for 20% off. Now let's get back to the episode.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Campfire Council podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. On the council, we have Joey,
Hello.
Miranda, Emilio, myself, Luke, and with us, our special guest, Josh. Welcome to the podcast, Josh.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. So this is not your first podcast. I know that.
It's not, but this might be the best one.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm most excited for this
Awesome.
podcast.
Love to hear it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so we can kind of just jump into it right away, but I know somewhat recently you did plant a church, Story Hill. If you kind of want to get into, well, when you just planted it and kind of how you started that off.
Sure. Yeah. So right out of college, I was actually a senior in college.
Okay.
My wife and I were pregnant with our first child, and I was trying to figure out, I was in Minnesota trying to figure out how am I going to get back to Wisconsin, like close to family, first grandchild on both sides.
Nice.
Like, how are we going to do it? And I ended up applying at this church in Mugwanago, Wisconsin, which was about 10 minutes from where I grew up. And I didn't even know the church existed before I applied there, like before I saw the posting. Ended up getting the job as the youth pastor, lived in the house on property.
Okay.
And that was my first 2 years of ministry right out of college, was working for this church in Mugwanago. Our youth group was about 75 kids. The church was about 150 maybe.
Oh, wow.
You know, so we
That's a lot of kids for
Yeah.
out of 150.
it was yeah. Well, when we started, it was like 15 kids,
Okay.
and then just through investing in the school,
Yeah.
building it up, and I would say like giving it some life, we saw God bless it. But
That's awesome.
moved on, worked for 3 other churches after that one. And I was sitting in a parking lot at a restaurant one day, and the restaurant wasn't open yet. So I was just scrolling on my phone. And all of a sudden, I got a text from somebody saying, "Hey, would you ever consider planting a church in McGuanago
Whoa.
at the building that you started ministry in?"
That's crazy.
So the church that I had worked for when we first started ended up closing.
Yeah.
And the property was just sitting there empty for about a year. And so they said, "We can give you a building. We can give you a house that you're very familiar with. We don't have any people. Would you be willing to,
To bring the
start?"
people.
Yes. And my wife and I like went through a series of like prayers and conversations and ended up moving back into the house that we brought our first 2 kids home from the hospital in.
That's so cool.
That's so
Wow.
awesome.
Yeah. So that's the journey of at least the location and the facility.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so how long ago was that again then that happened?
So we moved to McGuanago August 2023
Okay.
and then hit the ground running, renovated the entire building. Like we really wanted to show the community that this was different than before. So we painted the outside of the church blue, and it was like a tan building before. And like that's money that at the time it didn't really make sense. Like,
Yeah.
oh, why am I spending $20,000 to paint the outside of the building? But to the community driving by, it said something.
It stood out. Yeah.
Yes, it said something different. So every month, September to December, we had a interest party for people in the community come and hear about a new church that's going to start. And at that meeting, we gave people an opportunity to commit to be on the launch team. And then we also every month had a launch team meeting. And so throughout the course of September to January, 130 people committed to be on the launch
Wow.
team.
That's awesome.
And we kind of built that up, getting ready for a grand opening of a church is kind of the way that we did it.
That's awesome. And then from what I remember in the other podcasts, the church can, you had like 710
Yes,
people
at
on
our
the-
grand opening.
That's so cool.
We had
That's
710
crazy.
people. Yeah.
Nice.
It was wild because I totally didn't expect that. I
Yeah.
mean, I saw RSVPs coming in, and I remember having this moment where I'm like, maybe we should rent a charter bus to move people from across the street at the high school to the church, just in case.
Yeah.
And I told my assistant, I was like, "Can you figure out the cost of this?" And she was like, "Yeah, I can." And she came back, and I remember thinking, this is either the smartest thing that I've ever done or the dumbest. Like
Smartest.
the charter bus could just be sitting there
Yeah.
waiting to take no one,
Oh.
you know? And it ended up that like the bus driver was back and forth to
Oh,
the high
praise
school
God.
all day. We had 3 services.
Wow.
We had only marketed 2 services initially, 9 and 10:45. And then so we had so many RSVPs that I'm like, we need to add another service.
Wow.
So I added a 7:30 a.m. service.
What?
How did that
work?
How did that turn
far
out?
in advance
And-
did you add the 7:30 a.m.?
2 weeks before we,
Okay, wow.
2 weeks before. Yep. But like our mailer had already gone out.
Yeah.
So I had to stick with the 2 times. And so the only way to add another service would have been to go like 12:15
Yeah.
or 7:30. And we went with 7:30 and it was full. Like 7:30 was packed. 9 was over full.
Mhm.
Like we had 50 people in the lobby watching through the doors.
Wow.
And then same with the 10:45. It was another 50 people in the lobby.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Even just to think how you're presented with a building, a place to live, and then the people, like God provided the people, everyone to show up for the services. And it wasn't 2 services wasn't even enough. You
Yeah.
had to
Yeah.
have a third 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah,
crazy.
I remember at our first interest meeting saying we want to launch with 2 services.
Mm-hmm.
And even feeling like crazy to say that, because like this is a church that only lives in my imagination at the time. Like
Right.
it's just only in my head
Yeah.
saying we're going to launch with 2 services. And then when we did 3, I said, we're just going to do this for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll just do it for 3 weeks. And we've never stopped.
Wow.
We
That's
changed
awesome.
it to 8 a.m.
Yeah.
instead of 7:30.
That's pretty early. Yeah.
Yeah. So we do 8, 9:30, and 11. And the way church planning works, at least in the model that we did, was whatever your launch day number is, you're usually 50% of that is
Really?
what, like,
Okay.
because you have kind of people who are like well-wishers coming, like, hey, good job, you did it, you know?
Yeah.
And so after we launched, we were about 350 for a while.
Okay.
And now we're averaging about 500 a Sunday.
Wow.
And actually for Easter this last year, we had over 900
Oh.
for Easter.
Wow. How did you
Praise
figure that
God.
with seating and everything?
We went off-site.
Okay.
Yeah. I rented the school auditorium across the
Awesome.
street. And we just did one service. They had 912 seats.
Wow.
Wow.
And we had 903 people.
So awesome.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Dude, what?
Wow.
Man, that's so cool. Cause I mean, you started with 710.
Yeah.
It kind of declined a little bit, but then you get that like 903 people
Yeah.
for the Easter service. That's really cool.
Yeah. So I would say there's probably 700 or 800 people that say, I go there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
might not see them all that often,
Mhm.
but they would probably say
Yeah.
Story Hill's their church.
Their home church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Josh, before you started the church, what was your life growing up like as a kid? Were you born into Christianity, or was that something you found along the way?
Yeah. I grew up in a church that was pretty consistently the same forever. And I
Okay.
would say is exactly how it was when I left it
Sure.
now. Like,
Wow.
it's a family Bible church. I got saved in that church. I remember coming home from this Awana kids club
Nice.
when I was 6 years old
Good old days.
and telling my dad,
Loved Awana.
like, I want to
Wow.
I want to have Jesus come into my heart, is what I said. And
Yeah.
he prayed with me. And then afterwards he said, do you have any questions? And I was like, yeah, I do.
Wow.
Is there a Chuck E. Cheese in heaven?
Oh.
Best
And-
question ever to
yeah.
be asked.
Yep.
It makes sense.
What was the
Yeah.
answer?
Well, I think he said maybe, like, we never know. But now I'm a dad to 4 boys, and I've taken them when they were little to Chuck E. Cheese. There's definitely not a Chuck E. Cheese in heaven.
Right.
After
That's sad to hear.
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. All right. I
Oh.
can
Might
work
be
with that.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say Chick-fil-A is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I grew up like same church, going to youth group. I would say I didn't really own my faith till I was maybe 15, 16. And then my youth pastor moved away.
Yeah.
I was really close with him.
Yeah.
And we were talking on the phone after he moved. I was applying to colleges. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go to school to be an optometrist because that's what my dad does. And he was like, oh, yeah, that'd be good. But have you ever thought about ministry?
Mm-hmm.
And I was on the phone. I'm like, no, I haven't. I haven't thought about it. Like, moved on with my life.
Yeah.
But then over the course of like the next couple months, that question kept popping up. And I think I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's what I want to do. I'm going to be a youth pastor, just like Paul, my youth pastor.
Nice.
And yeah, I didn't think that I was going to be a lead pastor for a while, I think. Like, I started in ministry thinking I'm going to be one of those like lifelong youth pastors.
And how old were you when you started as a youth pastor? You said right out of college.
21.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
And how
21.
long did you do that for?
I was a youth pastor for 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. 2 different churches,
Okay.
but for 10 years.
Yeah.
Then God really put on my heart church planning. And I ended up getting hired to be a campus pastor,
Yep.
which was like church planting on training wheels,
Yeah.
I would say. Like, oh, you have a salary, you have a church, you have people. They just want to start another location.
Yeah.
And it felt like the best next step.
Yeah.
But then after I did that at Crossway, there was a moment where I'm like, you know what? I think God might be using everything that he's done in my life to prepare me for this one thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's really how it felt like, and how it still feels to be the lead pastor at Story Hill. Like, I think everything that I did, from the location that I started ministry in to all the experience that I gained over the, next 15 years or whatever, was to prepare me for Story Hill.
It all came full circle.
Yeah. it
That's
did.
awesome.
Yeah.
I've got a circle tattoo, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Emily and I, my wife Emily, we went out and got circle tattoos to
Nice.
symbolize like full circle moment.
I like that.
fun.
Along with the Bucks tattoo.
Yeah, of course. It's on the other arm. They're on
Okay, all
opposite
right.
arms.
Separate arms.
Yeah, yeah.
So awesome.
I got a Bucks tattoo when they won the championship. And it's the numbers on it are the location where I was sitting when they won.
That's so funny.
my gosh.
It's one of my favorite
He's not a
tattoos.
Bucks fan at all.
Yeah.
So what would you say from your experience of planting the church has been like the biggest difficulty or hardest obstacle to get over from like the start to where you're at now?
Yeah. I mean, church planning, I'd say like anything that you fully put yourself into. So this could be from, starting your own business to starting a podcast to whatever, you're putting 100% of yourself into something. That becomes very exposing. You're exposed on your strengths, your weaknesses, your motivations for why you're doing what you're doing. And I would say one of the hardest things for me about church planning was kind of the self-realization of like, oh, I'm not good at everything. And
Neither am I.
And
That's right.
yeah. And then like learning to run more in my strengths rather than beating myself up over. But like when you're church planning, you're every job. Like
Really?
you don't have a staff when you're first
That's
starting.
true. Yeah.
You're doing literally every task.
It's crazy.
You're running the social media. You're recruiting the people. You're trying to raise the money. My goal was to raise $600,000
Oh my gosh.
in 5 months,
What?
something like that.
Like,
How did it
Yeah.
go?
Great, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, it went really good. I think we got like about 650,000, something like
Wow.
that.
What?
Yeah.
oh.
How?
Man, praise God. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Praise the
right.
Lord.
Yeah, organizations,
Oh,
people, other churches like giving to it. Like
Wow.
That's so
I mean, I signed a tech contract.
Okay.
This is a crazy story.
Mhm.
I signed a tech contract for $180,000 for all the things we wanted. I think when I signed it, I had like 60,000 in the bank or something like that. And they're like, "Oh, well, your final payment will be like right around January 1st." And I was like, "Okay, I can do it. Like I can get there." And it was coming to that time of paying the final payment.
Wow.
I was $25,000 short of where I wanted to be. I had the money, but it really would have drained the account with all the other things we were doing. And I had this first meeting with the church. It's a random church in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm not connected to it at all. And I'm having a Zoom call with the pastor and the executive pastor. And I just was sharing the vision of the church, like how many people had signed up for the launch team, the momentum that we had. And he was like, "Hey, Josh, like I'm going to give you money, just so you know. Like we're going to give you money. And we're going to give you 25,000."
No way.
Yeah. And they had no
That's
idea
God.
how
That's
that
so cool.
I actually needed that money. And then he's like, "Do you want it all up front or do you want it like, $5,000 a year for the next 5 years?" I
Up
was
front.
like, "I want it all. Like, if I can have it all, I want it all."
Get over.
And yeah. And
Man,
I mean, literally
praise
a
God.
week later, he sent me a check for 25,000.
That's so cool. And you
Yeah.
you said you didn't have any connections with them
No connection at all.
besides
Yeah.
the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I mean,
Man.
I cold called,
Yeah.
probably 20 churches.
Really?
Wow.
And I think 4 of them ended up committing to it.
Okay.
But there were
Interesting. I
20
didn't really
churches
know-
that were like loosely connected in a network, like a
Okay.
church planting network.
Is that a common thing people will do when they're church planting, or is that kind of just?
I think a good church planter will find money anywhere they can.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
That, I mean, that's
I was just
Good.
gonna ask, did you have to like when you were talking with them explain like your denomination, and do you think maybe that was a factor for them being like, oh, we
so
also want
the
to
20 that I called, we were within the same denomination.
Okay.
So no, but I did have, I mean, maybe 4 or 5 different denominations give to Story Hill. So I don't think
cool.
that was ever a factor for somebody
Sure.
not to.
yeah, just curious.
It might have been a factor for somebody like, oh, yes, we will give because
Right.
you are,
yeah.
but not really. I
Okay.
think most people,
That's good to hear.
if they
though.
have a heart for church planning
right.
Yeah.
and like seeing new churches get started, I think they're willing to give something.
Mhm.
Like we've now been on the other side of that, where last year we gave away $60,000
Wow.
to church planning.
That's
That's
so
so-
awesome.
And
That's amazing.
yeah,
That's even more full circle. For
Yeah.
me.
Even
Like,
more.
so
So,
and
yeah.
I've had people reach out to me, and we do what we can,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's $500, and sometimes it's more than that. And
That's awesome.
What is the denomination?
we're a Wesleyan church, so
Okay.
I would say the distinctives of that are probably more like where women can serve in any level, and so pastors are on the board, and then more historically like free will versus predestination.
Okay.
But I think if you asked Paul that question, he'd be like, yes, like Paul the Apostle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He'd be like, he'd think it was a dumb question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So on the flip side of like the difficult things, what's been one thing, or like what have you been seeing as blessings come from the community of faith that you're now able to like lead after you planted the church?
Yeah. I mean, I remember before we started, there was this woman named Colleen who I was meeting, and most people I met with before we started were like coming from a church that they had previously been a part of, and they were like looking for something different. Maybe they hadn't attended church since COVID, but they had some church background.
Mhm.
And we're meeting at Starbucks. I was like, what church were you a part of before, Colleen? And she's like, oh, I've never been a part of a church.
Wow.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, well, what led you to book this coffee meeting,
Sure.
And she's like, I just have been wanting to get involved in a church. And I thought, why not one that's brand new?
Yeah.
And there were maybe a dozen stories like that by the time we started. And then maybe 4 dozen more after we like launched and people were coming. And I just love that Story Hill for, maybe 100 people now, including kids, is like people's first church.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Like we started a church that ended up like being day one of somebody's like faith legacy
Yeah.
for their family. And that's really cool. Like that's something I just never get over.
Mhm.
And then like seeing some of those people be baptized over the
Wow.
course of the next year, and like family dynamics completely change.
Mhm.
We do family camp at Village Creek,
Nice.
Bible
Love
camp
Village
in
Creek.
Iowa. Yeah.
Big fans.
And
Oh yeah.
I took this family, not this past summer, but the summer before that for the first time. And we weren't really connected to them at all, but I just felt like this family needs family camp and they'll love it. And they have 2 sets of twins.
Wow. 2 sets of
And-
twins. That's
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. And so they ended up going, and just seeing how God has totally reshaped their whole life.
Yeah.
And then getting to hear that from the parents, like
Mhm.
our lives are completely different than they were 19 months ago
Wow.
because of Story Hill, not because of Story Hill, because of Jesus.
Yeah.
And Jesus happened to use Story Hill.
Yeah.
But that's special.
Yeah, it's
So
a
that's been
huge,
a huge
blessing that you
blessing.
get to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Especially like the people come to church for the first time, like an opportunity that was presented by you being presented with a building and a place to live, and
Yeah.
then the people were provided. So,
Yeah.
man, that's sick. Do you have like any advice or a tip for anyone that's looking to like plant a church, or something that you would have done
Oh.
different if you
No
could go
tips.
back?
He's like, no, I'll keep that to myself.
No. I mean, I coach like 5 church planting couples right now.
Okay.
That's awesome.
And I probably spend a day a week trying to talk to people who want to.
Okay.
And I would just say ask as many questions as possible.
Gotcha.
Like from people, like that's one thing that I did. I just was constantly asking my coaches questions, figuring out how can I do this better? What are ways that I can fundraise, that I haven't thought of, or, and then like, don't say yes or no for somebody else. So that when it comes to like an invite to church, to a startup party, to giving money, I think sometimes we want to say, or we like self-select people out.
Okay.
Like, oh, they're too busy, or they probably don't have any money, so I'm not going to ask them for that, or, and give people the opportunity to say yes or no to whatever it is. And I think that that's huge. Like the ask is so important.
Absolutely.
I've never been shy on asking. If you know me, I've asked for probably a lot over the course of, and that could be help moving to, hey, want to be a part of a church. But asking is important.
Yeah, the worst you can get is really like a no for the most part.
And then move on. And maybe you'll get their prayers if they're a Christian.
Yeah.
Right.
And you don't know what kind of blessings will come from you taking that uncomfortable step of asking.
And then the other thing that I would say is when people say no, or when they leave, like when they leave the church, thank them. Like, thanks for you helped start a church. Like, I'll never forget it. Thanks for your generosity, for your investment. Like, hold things loosely because things change. People are weird,
Yeah, we are.
We're weird. Yep.
Yeah. And just hold things loosely because like the people that you have aren't yours. They're God's, and God's going
100%.
to take them in different directions, and that's okay. I've been very like celebratory of people leaving. Yeah. And then they've come back. And I think if I would have been like weird about it or angry or asking a ton of like awkward questions, then the door would have been closed forever.
Yeah.
But like, go try to find something better. You won't.
Yeah.
But you can try.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. That's so cool to hear, like, because I don't know a whole lot about church planning. It's typically like you hear about the churches that are already established, or you hear like a church closed down, but like the commitment and the work, the dedication, the money, the time that goes into it's amazing. So thank you for being obedient to God's calling. That's sick, because you gotta start a whole new community where people have the opportunity to go there to build a relationship with Christ, which is awesome. So and you get to see, so I'm sure so many blessings come from it.
Yeah, it's been special.
Yeah,
for sure.
Let's transition though into, you had a 3-day dark retreat.
Yes, I did.
Which I would absolutely love to get into. If you want to just go ahead and explain what that is.
So I was on Instagram, and we were in, let's just say, month 10 of Story Hill.
Okay.
And I really was, like I said, church planting is exposing like your weaknesses kind of shine in different ways, or even when they don't for other people, that they're there. And they're, I would say 10 months in, we were having a lot of success. I had been invited into different spaces. You had 710 people at launch, and like you're going into your first Christmas, and there was a lot of momentum there. And I kind of got a little bit of like, yes, I know those things happened, but I kind of had a little bit of like maybe imposter syndrome on it, I would say, of feeling like, yeah, how did that happen? Like it wasn't me, but yet I was being elevated in different spaces, being invited to different networks to share, how'd you do it, and it's like, I really didn't, and I didn't know that I didn't at that time. I think I was wrestling with like, was this me? Was this God? What's, Yeah. And anyway, I felt like I was getting kind of prideful. And I, on Instagram, saw a reel of somebody that said like darkness retreat 3 days after a darkness retreat. And they were taking off their blindfold and seeing for the first time. And there was just something about like the visual of that, what they were saying, kind of the crying that took place, like just upon seeing for the first time, that I just was really intrigued. And so then I started to do some research on it. And I saw that Aaron Rodgers, we know Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. He did, I guess, 2 different kind of solo retreats. One in Peru on ayahuasca. So on drugs. Oh. Then he did one that was a darkness retreat in Oregon, where he was in the dark for 3 days, like just pure darkness. That's it. And the reel that I saw was this place in Oregon called Sky Cave Retreats. Oh. And I emailed, like inquired about it. And they were like, oh, you just pay your first night's deposit and then you get added to a wait list. The wait list is 2 years long.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm going to get on the wait list.
They had that many people?
Yeah. So I entered the wait list, and when he emailed me, there was like, and this is important to the story, there were 3 different levels of like how much you could pay. It's like, pay what it's worth to you. And so I thought, if I'm getting on a wait list, then
$0.
No, if I pay the most that you can, then I'm probably more likely to get bumped up the wait list. Just thinking as a business person, like if there's a wait list and somebody has paid $100 a night to $300 a night, I'm going to take the $300 person first, probably, So I did that, sent the most that I could. And I was on the wait list, for a little while. I had a date in like 2027 that I was going to go or something like that. And then on Christmas Day, I don't know why, but I emailed the guy and said, Merry Christmas. Looking forward to whenever my name comes up for the retreat. And he replied, when do you want to come?
Nice. That's awesome.
And then we went back and forth. He offered me dates. Like one of them was over Easter. I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. And then one of them was Memorial Day weekend. And I joke around that Memorial Day weekend in churches is like youth pastor preaches Sunday. Like no lead pastor is preaching on Memorial Day weekend anywhere. And so I was like,
because the attendance is so low.
Yeah, just because it's a holiday weekend, So my youth pastor, I'm like, he's going to preach on Memorial Day, and I'm going to go do this dark retreat. And so I booked the plane ticket, and I'm an extreme extrovert. This is like a really weird thing for me to sign up for, and I actually am not that good at like solitude and like contemplation. I probably should be more, because as a pastor, I just think that kind of comes with it.
Yeah.
Or as a Christian, how about that? But signed up, booked the ticket, hopped on a plane. I actually preached at a church in Illinois that weekend, Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
Then right after I preached, hopped on a plane and went and landed in Oregon. Scott, the retreat host, the guy who founded it, picked me up, and we're driving like into the woods of the mountains of Oregon.
Wow.
And he's like, you're going to go in the dark tonight. And I was like, whoa. Like the itinerary that he sent me was Monday at sunset to Thursday at sunset.
Oh boy, that's tough.
And Sunday night I arrived. So I was like, wait, I'm going in tonight. He's like, we want you to go in tonight, get a small sample size. And then you have a therapy appointment tomorrow at 4 p.m. And we want you to process like just the test run of going into the dark.
Does he do this for everyone?
Does it for everybody.
Okay.
Yep. So I was like, okay. And I kind of organized my things in the room. It's about a 400 square foot room. It has a bed, a chair, a rug, a bathtub, and a toilet and sink. Like it's just kind of one space. And I organize all my things. And then he kind of says, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Closes the door, lights go off, and I'm just in the dark then. And it was probably 11:30 p.m. when that happened. And I went to bed shortly after that, probably midnight, 12:15, something like that. I was tired from flying. Woke up, had breakfast, prayed, kind of
They provide food for you?
laid around. Yeah, so the food, there's a box that goes through a wall. And on his side, I know it sounds crazy, but on his side, he opens the box, puts the food in, closes it, and then you can open it on your side so that no light comes in. All of the foods have certain lids on them where like kind of what to expect. It's the same meals every day. He brings the meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner all in the evening. So you have like your whole day's set of food to last you until 6 p.m. the next day. So I had, banana, peanut butter and jelly, a salad, some soup, some fruits, nuts, that kind of thing. Like that, very, very simple foods. So woke up for breakfast, had a hard-boiled egg, the little yogurt, and laid around, prayed, walked around, took a bath. This is all in the dark. I mean, you can't see anything.
How was like just eating in the, like, how was that
very
experience?
weird.
Yeah.
The hard with soup.
Oh yeah.
Because you don't know what you're eating with soup.
Oh, true.
Like, and then if it's like the first few soups that I got weren't broth based, they were like more chunky. So you can't just like drink it either.
Gotcha.
But I don't know what exactly I'm eating either. So it's very weird. I'd like smell it, like try to get a feel for what it is.
Wow.
But yeah, woke up, did the breakfast thing, had lunch a little while later. And then I'm sitting in this chair, which is like a zero gravity chair. And I'm like, man, it has been a long time. And if he's coming back, I know my counseling appointment's at 4 p.m. If he's coming back at 3, I was like, I'm going to tell him I don't want to do the therapy appointment because I've already basically made it a whole day. And I want to come out Wednesday night at sunset instead of Thursday. Like,
Yeah.
I want to
Just
cut a
extend
corner. I just want to cut the corner here. And I prepare this conversation in my head for like how I'm going to negotiate with this guy that I've never met through a wall that I'm talking to him in. And he comes, he's like, hey, Josh, how's it going? Very soft, like voice. And I'm good. And I'm telling him like processing time has just gone by so slow. I've had breakfast, I've had lunch, and it just feels like I've been in here for an entire 24 hours. And he really wanted me to tap into like, what does that feel like in your body? Like what? Like, okay, I know intellectually you're saying it's taken a while, but what does it feel? What are you feeling right now in your body? Like, is it tense? Is it anxious? And I'm like, well, there just isn't anything to do in here.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, what does it mean to do? And he's like peeling layers of an onion, it felt like. And then finally we have this whole conversation, and then I'm like, hey, I don't want to go to therapy. If it's close to that time, I want to skip it. I want to come out Wednesday night. And he's like, Josh, what time do you think it is right now?
Oh my gosh.
I was like, 3 in the afternoon. He's like, it's 9 a.m.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So it's only been like a couple
9
hours.
a.m.
Oh jeez.
I think that I woke up at 3 a.m.
Gotcha.
What?
Had breakfast. And because I was on like adrenaline from like being in the experience,
Yeah.
Sure.
I think I wasn't tired the way that I normally would have been tired.
What?
And that freaked me out. Like I walked out at 9:30 it's like the best way I can describe it's a cave. It's like a hobbit hole. If you've seen Lord of the Rings,
we know they have.
it is a hobbit hole.
I talk our
flesh.
language.
Yes. And I walk out of this hobbit hole, and then I'm like, you going for a little hike, walking around. I call Emily. There's barely any service.
Are you
So
still?
he let you out at like 9.
He said, enjoy the property. Go down to
Okay,
the sauna.
okay,
Take
cool.
a dip in the river.
Nice.
You know, like just enjoy the property until 4:00. There's a like little shack that has Wi-Fi down there. You're going to have a
Cool.
therapy
Okay.
appointment via Zoom
That's
with the therapist.
cool.
And that's at 4:00. So just be down there at 4:00.
Wow.
But you're not in the dark anymore, correct?
Not in the dark.
Okay.
And even in the light, it sucked.
Really?
It was so slow. And I was going technology free, other than I checked in with Emily because I wanted her to know, like, hey, I didn't talk to you because I was in the dark. Just so you know, like,
Yeah.
she didn't know that I
So
was
they
having
took
this
your
practice round. I set it right outside the room.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it was so long and it was really boring.
Yeah. Like, how were you? I mean, how were you feeling? Just like within that time, because I know you kind of broke it down a little bit. You said it felt like a cave, but like, what was your thought process? Like, how did you spend your time? Did you just?
Well, I would say in that practice session, I prayed a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I had 2 goals in going there. I want to connect with God.
Yep.
And I want to uncover something about myself that I'm unaware of.
That's good.
And I wrote that down, communicated that with the retreat hosts. They're not, it's faith neutral, so they're not Christians.
Yeah.
They probably came from a more like Buddhist background, actually.
Gotcha.
But they had said, oh, we've had a couple Christians do this, though. I mean, a couple is what they said. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. Like, this is not that normal. And I go down to my therapy appointment later in the day at 4, and I just start to talk about my experience. And then I just broke down. And I was like, if no one knew I was here, I would quit. Like, I'm mad that my big mouth told people that I was coming here. Because if no one knew that I was here, I would quit. I would go to the beach and I would have my own little retreat for the week. But now people know that I'm here. And ironically, one of the reasons why I wanted to go do the dark retreat in the first place is because as a pastor, and I'm not saying this in the negative sense, like in a fake sense either, there's an element of like performing all the time. Like, you're always on. You're always a lead pastor. It's not an 8 to 5 job where you're like, oh, I'm an engineer, and then, oh, I get to not be an engineer for a little while, or, you know, and sure, certainly people take work home with them, and, you know, work becomes a big part of your identity. And for me in that season, I wanted to go and meet with God with no one else hearing about it or caring about it, or, you know.
Yeah.
And then I realized that even my being there was a performance. And so I felt this in this therapy session. I felt this lose-lose of, I came here not to perform.
Yeah. And
I'm performing in my being here.
Was that the reason why you wanted to quit?
I wanted to quit because I just was, I felt like, what am I doing? What's the point? What's my point in being here?
Yeah.
And then she said,
The therapist
said, your goals were to uncover something about yourself and to meet with God. She's like, what if you this week have a profound moment of uncovering something about yourself, and you personally meet with God? And if you can't handle the dark, what if you do that in the light, in solitude? Like, who cares what this retreat's going to be like? Like, these are the 2 goals. We want to help you with those 2 goals. And she's like, so maybe we should come up with a plan where you'll turn the lights on for some of the time, where you'll, you know, she starts saying all these things. And then I am sitting there and I'm like, but what about my video? Like, what about the reaction video?
Yeah.
And if I don't do the dark, then I won't get the video.
Yeah.
And and I was recognizing that this video was like a huge piece of
Huge.
like me being there. But then I'm like, why do I want this video? Is it because it's shared with the world? Is it because it's shared with those that know me? And it was all becoming really frustrating, like all in like 1 second of like, wow, I'm messed up. Like I'm a performer. I want people to like think that I'm cool for doing something, you know, like all my motivations, I think were just kind of unraveling. And then she was like, what if you meet with God and uncover something about yourself and you don't have a video? Is it still a success? And I was like, maybe. I mean, I really kind of want it, you know. And then she basically said, forget the video. Like, it's not happening for you.
Wow.
We're not going to do it.
Oh.
Like, so we're taking this off the table. And I was like, okay. So then we wrap up. I call Emily and I'm telling her all, like everything in my experience.
Wow.
And she's like, you're not leaving. You're going to
Laying
stay
down
there
the rules.
and try it. But if you can't handle it, like if you have a nervous breakdown, then fine, do it in the light. But you're still going to have solitude time with God.
Yeah.
Like you're not leaving. Your hobbit hole is your home.
You're staying there.
That's good.
So then I go in Monday night and I was like, really, can I do this? Like I didn't know if I could, literally.
Yeah, what was
'Cause
that like? So you did it for however many hours?
Not that many
practice.
hours.
Then you had the light again. What was your like your feelings? How were you feeling going back into it, knowing you're going to be in that for even longer?
Yeah, I was really overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm going to try this, but if it's anything like the practice round, I don't know if I can actually handle it.
Yeah.
And I had a hard time Monday night at sunset to Tuesday morning. Really hard time. Emotional, lonely, isolating, like every emotion you could think of. I probably experienced anger, you know, why am I here?
Yeah.
Some frustration, thinking of all the things that I didn't do before I went in that I should have done, and the people that I didn't reach out to that I should have reached out to, and you know, going through all these different lists in my
You have
head.
a lot of time to be thinking.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, you're thinking about everything.
Alone with your thoughts.
And then he checked on me at 9 a.m. and at 6 p.m. every day. 6 p.m. he'd bring the food.
Okay.
9 a.m. was just a 10-minute check-in. He comes to check in on me at 9, and I had already kind of had a hard time. And I was sharing this with him, and of course he would be like, what does it feel like to, you know, have a hard time? And I'd be like, stop it.
Let me show you.
Yeah. Like, enough. And I went through the exercises that he wanted me to do.
Yeah.
But then he's like, I have something for you. And he starts reading 2 Corinthians.
Wow.
My grace is sufficient for you.
It's my life verse.
For my power is made perfect in weakness.
Yep.
So I boast all the more about my weaknesses, for when I am weak, I am strong.
Wow.
And I just like, it totally reframed the whole experience for me, because I think I went to connect with like rest in God, connect with the love of God. Like this will be like, I don't know what I was thinking, but I wasn't thinking that I was going to go and tap into the weakness of Jesus, the loneliness of Jesus, the hard earthly things that he experienced.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I was like, oh, this whole thing is going to be that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be tapping into weakness. Then he reads me Philippians chapter 2 about Jesus being in the very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he emptied himself. And he was like, this experience for you, what if it's okay to be weak? What if it's okay to empty yourself? What if hard is okay? And what if that's where God is going to meet you?
Wow.
And I was like,
He's like preaching to you.
yeah,
He's not even a Christian.
no,
That's
no.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then from then on, it was difficult. But I like wanted to feel the difficult, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to
Embraced it.
feel
Yeah.
the hard, and I wanted to feel the loneliness that I was experiencing. And I'm like, oh, when was Jesus lonely? Oh, when he was in the desert, in the wilderness for 40 days. I bet that was lonely.
Yeah.
Like, I bet he was tired.
Mhm.
I bet, and I just started to, in everything I was feeling, surrender that to God, not in a way to escape it, but in a way to like fully embrace it.
Yeah, that's a big switch too.
Yes.
Wow.
And it was a scary switch
Yeah.
because I didn't know like the next thing I was going to feel or experience. But my prayer times were just so powerful, and I eventually got to the point where I'm like, I'm okay if I'm suffering.
Yeah.
I'm okay if I'm lonely, like everything was stripped from me. And it was kind of like, I'm okay if I have you,
Mhm.
like for God.
Like, don't take your presence from me.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of
Yeah.
like Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, like when he was talking to God, asking him to take this cup from me.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even imagine, like, I mean, your experience for 3 days,
Yeah.
but like compared to having like the weight of the world is like, well, not yet, but having like feeling God turn his back on him when he was on the cross, but having like that feeling in the garden too has got to be like a crazy feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I felt like, is God in here
Hmm.
at the beginning?
Mhm.
And then when he read me those scriptures, I was like, yes, like God's more here than I realized. And it allowed me to be honest with myself about, insecurities that I have. Even like I went through and I'm like, what are all the things in life that trigger me? Oh, when this person texts me, I get frustrated. Why do I get frustrated? Oh, it's because they're strong in something that I'm weak in. And I feel like I'm not good enough when they're texting me. But really, they're just trying to serve in their strengths.
Wow.
Like they're trying to come alongside me. And so why do I have such a hard time with that individual? And I started to go through even people that I was mad at for not supporting me the way that I wish they had in launch. Like, because there were some pastors that I felt really close with that I was like, oh, you gave me $3,000 and this pastor that I didn't even know gave me 25,000.
Yeah.
And like, I started to build up all these like
Oh.
frustrations and hold people to like standards that I hadn't even communicated.
Yeah.
And I really like left all of that and surrendered it.
Wow.
And I needed that. It's what I needed in the whole thing. So then Thursday, Wednesday's kind of equally hard. Wednesday night though, I'm like, oh, tomorrow night, 24 hours. I'm feeling like, oh, I've got this.
Yeah.
Like this happened. And I walked to the bathroom with like a little bit more confidence than I had previously had.
Oh boy.
And I just banged my head into the wall.
Oh.
Nice.
Because I like had all these powerful prayer times. I had these like realizations about myself that I really needed. And then
Yeah.
I'm like feeling good and just bam.
It's the funny
Just
thing, having
humbling.
confidence to walk to the
Yeah.
bathroom and smack your head.
Yeah, exactly. So then Thursday, actually, the Scott's wife came on Thursday in like the morning, I think, sometime after 9, but before I came out, and I got a massage, and it was
Nice.
like, oh, this is
That's
this
nice.
is great. Human interaction for a
Right.
second, and then Thursday night. He comes at 6, brings me the food, and he's like, hey, we're going to wait till like 8 o'clock to let you out. Just as the sun's over the mountain, like on the other side of the mountain, we'll bring you out. Took the mask off that I wasn't wearing the whole time, but I wore it to go sit in the chair. And then I got to see for the first time, and it was like a feeling that I'll never get again.
Yeah.
Just like overwhelming beauty, awe. You just feel so happy about like overwhelmed about what happened in the whole experience. It all kind of culminates to that moment. And I was like sitting there looking at everything. And then I noticed there was a camera off to the side. I was like, oh, we are filming this. Okay. And I didn't realize it actually for maybe the first few minutes of being out there.
Yeah, just soaking in the sunset and the beauty and everything.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
That was probably their whole plan, right?
I don't know.
You'd think
Maybe.
they want you to know, because then it would take your focus. I don't know.
I'm so glad that they did.
Yeah.
I do think coming out, I did text it to a few people initially in like in the way that I shouldn't have, like in the way of like maybe attention seeking. But then after I kind of realized that, and actually on the other side had a therapy appointment with the therapist from the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, I did that. And I put it on my own social media because not really for anyone else, but because I was like, I want it on my feed.
Yeah.
Because it was such a significant moment for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to forget it. And now every time I get notifications when somebody else, gets a video put up, and I comment on like all of them, just because it's just such a meaningful experience for everybody. And so would I recommend it? I think yes.
I was going to ask that, yeah.
But I know that you're probably going to, it's like, oh yeah, I'll recommend it, but you're going to go and die. Like, I recommend it, like probably a marathon runner recommends running a marathon. It sucks to train. It sucks to probably at some moment while you're running it. But then afterwards, you're like, oh, I did it.
I have a question for you that I think it's related to this experience that you had, but it's also something I thought of from listening to the previous podcast. Is it a challenge to you to run the necessities of like the business of the church without treating the church as a business? Because I think this kind of relates to like what you're talking about, performative aspect of running the church, and then also the necessities of getting money and the financials and stuff.
Sure.
Is that a challenge?
I think you really need to not care, like as much as possible.
Not care about what?
Not care about the business part of it,
Okay.
So yeah, it can be hard.
Yeah.
Because, now we're in our budget isn't huge. Like I think our budget's going to be like 500,000 this year, which is in the scheme of church plants. It's like, oh, wow, that's a lot of money. But there's churches out there that are tens of millions of dollars annually. And on some level, you hope people are giving, and like gifts are necessary to run the church, but it should be about people's spirituality and like their walk with God, and them like flexing that muscle of like, oh God, I'm trusting you with my money.
Yeah.
More than about Story Hill's bottom line. And I like the dark retreat, and I feel like God's really protected me in caring too much for the business or like the box of the church. I'm grateful for those things. I have people that look at them more than I do. Yeah. Like I've surrendered a lot of stuff, but yeah, I think where churches go wrong in general is if they get too focused. It's like on themselves, I guess, Yeah. And I think it's easy in money to be focused too much on yourself. It's easy in like the business aspects of the church to be too focused on yourself. But if we're focused on mission, if we're focused on becoming more like Jesus, then everything else will follow, and we got to be good stewards of it all. But, I didn't start a church to run a business, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you remind yourself to refocus?
Yeah. Well, I think good mentors for sure in that way. And, the thing with the church is there are probably a lot of good mentors out there who will tell you how to run the business side of the church.
Yeah.
But then there are other mentors who will tell you how to like care for yourself, get close to Jesus, with maybe a more spiritual focused. I have a really good group of those guys in my life. The opportunities to retreat and go away, whether it's in the dark or in the light, I think really like give you a different perspective. Like when you travel, you come back and you're maybe a little bit more grateful for what you have if you go and travel in like an area where there's a lot of need, or you go and travel, you see something beautiful, you're hiking up a mountain. I was just in Banff, Canada recently.
Sweet.
I'm hiking. I'm way up at the top of like Lake Louise. I can view like these little ants are down there. They're canoes in the water.
Cool.
And up there, my problems are just very small. Like I'm like, what really does this matter? And I think it gives you a different perspective, even in like the operating of a church. Like, hey, does that really matter? And I hope to not lose that.
Thank you. It was just something I was thinking of, especially listening to the last podcast. I think for me, it kind of makes me uncomfortable to even think about the money part of a church, but it's necessary.
Yeah. Well, I think it just depends on like what they're used for, and like also I think there's a level of transparency that needs to be there. Like for us, our budget's posted. Like anybody can grab it. It's at the welcome desk.
Yeah.
They could see like what we're paying staff. They could see what we're allocating to missions and church planning and to the building, and like
that's awesome.
Yeah, and if tomorrow everybody's salaries in the nation needed to be made known in churches, I wouldn't feel weird about it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, meaning like, I make maybe enough to provide for my family. It's arguable at sometimes, but it's not, anything where people would be like, "Whoa, Josh started a church," and I see why Josh started a church.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
And so it's necessary, but also kind of going to like the asking thing and like self-selecting people out. I have been blessed by giving of my resources to things that are bigger than me. I support a missionary in the Philippines. I support Practicing the Way, which is a discipleship organization that I love. We give to John Mark Comer. Yeah, we give to Story Hill, and I've seen personal blessing in that. And it's not about Story Hill. Like it's just about how God's been able to shape my heart when it comes to money. One thing with the planting that God really blessed us with is I bought this house in Wauwatosa. It's a great house. I miss it. But the market went up. I sold the house. We made like $200,000.
Wow.
And I was moving into a free house, church planting, like
That's
it's
so cool.
on the property. It's not mine. If I get fired tomorrow, I'm homeless. I'm going to be moving in here.
All right.
I'm going to be moving my whole family in here.
It'll be cozy.
But I was able to take the money that we made on the house and pay off all of our debt, all my school loans. We had 2 cars that we had debt on. We had a little bit of credit cards that we had debt on. So I wiped all that out.
That's awesome.
And I was able to like fully focus on planting the church.
That's awesome.
Without having personal worry.
Yeah.
And I do think when we have personal worry in our finances, just in general, we make decisions or we like operate in a way that maybe is not healthy. And the more financially free we can be, then the more we are able to give sacrificially, the more we're able to like just, oh God, you want me to go over here and do this thing that seems really crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I can do it. Like I don't have to think about X, Y, and Z of my bills. And so I am like pretty big on being as financially free as possible.
Yeah.
And that's not an income thing. That's just like a, debt reduction.
Yeah.
Because then if God asks us to do something crazy, or, we need to, for me, I have to steward the resources that God's giving Story Hill, I can do it in a different way without feeling like selfish motivation.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
It's so cool, like just how all that worked out with the home that they provided. Once again, the money you're able to use to pay off your debts, to focus in on Story Hill.
Yeah.
And like that's not a coincidence. Like God had that planned
Totally
from step one to where you're at now.
And I think the dark retreat and the timeline of that too, me being a year and a half in to being a first time lead pastor, of having some success, and then kind of being like stripped down to nothing, basically, was what I needed to move forward and have a better perspective.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, thank you for sharing that too. Cause that's such a unique experience that when I first heard about it, I was like, what exactly is this? Like, that's so interesting, but it's cool to see how, like, when you first went in there, you're like, this is difficult. I don't know if I want to do this. You were like contemplating it. And then, what was his name again? The guy who was running the place? Scott came along and he was reading you scripture when he doesn't even believe from what you said. And it's like, he literally, like, God used him to give you exactly what you needed to change your perspective. And he's like, you're going to suffer and you're going to be uncomfortable, and it's going to draw you closer to me, which is so cool.
God used ChatGPT as well.
Nice.
Come to find out, that's what Scott he ChatGPT'd scriptures for somebody who's feeling vulnerable.
Nice.
Hey, I mean, it worked out though.
Yeah.
But even God worked through that, which is pretty insane.
I kind of want to transition a little bit. Let's throw it back to when we first met.
Okay.
So I know we met through Crossway years ago. When did you start over there again?
2020.
Okay, because that's
or 2019.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because then shortly after, like 2020, because I remember it was before COVID or during COVID.
Yep.
That's when you started the Bible study.
Yeah, it was right before COVID. Yeah.
And I just want to say for that was, well, one, that was a huge part in my journey along, like getting back on track with my faith, which is really cool because I truly enjoyed that. Like when you would host and you'd have us over and like you'd spend time with me. I know we had multiple times we'd hang out, which is awesome. And I just want to personally thank you for you using your home, using your knowledge that God gave you to just bring a group of young adults together. And it really helped me because I've been in a couple other Bible studies, and some I didn't feel like super connected because they were bigger, or there was like a huge age gap between like me and there'd be like an 80-year-old or like a 70-year-old in there. And it's like, that's awesome. But like what we had there in that smaller setting was amazing. Also, that's how I also got connected with Miranda more, which led down the road to her starting a Bible study, which transitioned to other events, met Milo, we met Brandon, who's also in the podcast. And it's spiraled now into a podcast that we have today through just like trickles of blessings that I can't even like.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful and blessed that
chills
because of like a calling, or you felt led to like, hey, let's start a Bible study.
Yeah.
And like the impact, I think it's so important. Like we may not realize those things all the time, where it's like something small, like let's have a group of people meet, let's have a conversation, let's get coffee. But the after effects, the ripples, the blessings, the people that you meet that come along to the things that are happening today is just like super incredible. So I want to thank you for being obedient and following after Christ, because it had a huge impact on my life, and I'm sure on a lot of other people's lives as well. And it helped bring me to where I am at today. So that was super cool.
Well,
that was
thanks for
super
sharing
fun.
that. Yeah.
Just like a great time. And it really like gave me that passion and love for like Bible studies and small groups and like how important it really truly is.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool.
Well, I think now being here in this space, hopefully your working out bodybuilding thing rubs off on me. You know, if I can rub off of you to help you do some Bible studies and start a podcast,
Give it
then
right back.
I need you to kind of bring some of that my way.
Yeah, you're like,
All right,
yeah,
all
okay, let's go.
yes.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But seriously, I'm super thankful for the invitation to be here, and you guys using your voice, your influence, a platform like a podcast to honor God and have some discussions that maybe some people don't have all the time.
Yeah,
I think it's really cool.
Thank you. It's a ton of fun. I mean, we absolutely love it. It's taught us a lot. It's like having in person, private, behind the door conversations, and then you speak into a microphone, and then you put it out there, realizing, oh wow, I need to make sure that I'm backing up my words with actions.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my faith, and not just
Totally.
doing one thing in a microphone and being a completely different person. One more quick thing I want to ask you: are you still doing the dad bod pizza?
Ooh.
What is that?
Yes, I had a little catering business called Dad Bod Pizza.
What?
I've always been entrepreneurial. I think that's why God put that in me to start a church, you know.
Okay.
And I, for a while, was doing things, you know, that were flexing that muscle
Yeah.
so that God could use it later on in something maybe better than pizza. But I still love to cook pizza.
Yes.
I'm not doing the catering thing,
Okay.
but you know, I just did it for my family and some friends a couple weeks ago. And yeah, I still got a great dough recipe.
Oh.
I've upgraded my oven a few times.
Yeah.
So
You had
I'm
t-shirts
still
and
on
everything, too,
I had
right?
t-shirts. I haven't done the t-shirt thing in a while, but I should bring that back. We just did a mission trip to Belize recently at Story Hill.
Okay.
We had 34 people go, and one of the guys on the trip was like, "You have to bring Dad Bod Pizza back."
You should
And I
do
was
like
like,
a
you know,
church event at Story
yeah,
Hill, just
we
like
should
dad
do-
bod as like one of the food sources. That'd be
Yes,
sweet.
yeah, that would be fun. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what comes of that. I've got a couple other, you know, irons in the fire right now.
Okay.
And we had such success with like the launch of our church through utilizing social media that I wanted to make it more affordable for other churches. You know, like you mentioned the Church Candy podcast. They're great. They were huge for us in starting Story Hill, but their cost is just higher than some churches can afford for those kind of services. So we started a business that's about half that cost, doing a similar thing, launching ads for churches, basically helping churches be known in their communities more, because so many people are online, you know,
absolutely.
and it's a mission field that we need to like think about as a church. How are we utilizing our online presence to connect people to God? And so we help other churches do that. And so for now, I'm focused on that. And
That's
then maybe Dad Bod Pizza
Yeah, bring it back.
later on. Yeah.
One
sounds
more
good.
question.
Yeah.
Didn't you used to review cereals?
Josh Eats Cereal
Yeah.
was a thing I did. Yes.
Has it ended, or is it
No,
in the past? Is it still going?
that was short-lived, but it was fun. And what I would do, it didn't start out as a cereal review thing.
Okay.
It started out as me going live, eating cereal,
I love that.
That's amazing.
not
It's
saying
like almost
anything.
Andy Warhol
Yes.
eating the
Like,
burger.
We're not going to say a word.
That's
We're just
amazing.
going to put the cereal box there,
Yes.
eat the cereal. It's going to take a couple minutes. Then the video ends.
That's perfect.
That's what it was. And then I started to have a little bit more fun with it with my kids for like reviewing cereals and that kind of thing. I have not actually bought a box of cereal
Same here.
in a long time.
What's your top favorite
I might
cereal?
tonight though. I
Yeah.
might need to do that
Yeah.
before I start my bodybuilding career.
Yeah.
Right.
I like Rice Krispies with sugar.
Okay.
Like
Simple.
just sugar on
Okay.
top, simple. Cookie Crisp is a good
Yeah.
one.
Okay. That is a good one.
Actually, they brought it back. It was gone for a little while, but Oreo O's, that was a
Yep.
big one for me.
Yep.
Because so Oreo O's was a cereal,
Yep.
then it was gone. Then it was only available in China.
Really?
And I would go
So
on
you flew
eBay.
you flew to China.
No, I would go on eBay and I would buy boxes of it
What?
That's
Shipped.
hilarious.
Dedication.
so that I could still have it. But now it's
Yeah.
back. Anyone can get it.
Have you heard
Nice.
of Magic Spoon?
No.
It's
a
like protein cereal.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to start your bodybuilding career,
It is a
what
little
I gotta do.
expensive, but
it is expensive.
All
maybe
good
not
things
as
are.
expensive as having
All,
shipped from
yeah.
China.
All good things seem to be expensive,
Yeah.
don't they?
Yep.
Man, do you have any final thoughts to close out for the listeners?
No, I just say what God's done in my life over the last 19 months is people, it's allowed me to connect with a lot of people, and it's allowed me to view my life not as my own. And you know, as much as we can do that, like
Yeah.
our life is not our own. Like we live in a world where that says differently. That's like, oh, you need to prioritize you and you need to like do what's best for you. And like, I just don't know if that's where we're really going to find ourselves. And I really feel in a healthy place of like knowing that, God, I want to leverage my life for you. I want to leverage my influence for you, my conversations. And if things get hard, or I feel weak, or I feel lonely, it's okay, and you'll meet me there. So I guess for those that are listening, like be willing to do whatever it takes to connect with God, to help others connect with God, and know that when things get hard, it's okay, and He's going to meet you there. And so if you're in a hard spot, embrace it rather than trying to escape it.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Well, Josh, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time to come out here, hang out with us, talk with us, share your experience with your retreat, starting up your church and everything. We hope to see the Dad Bod Pizza come back.
Yes.
Maybe we'll get a video of more cereal.
Yep. Maybe.
We never know. But yeah, it was a fun time. We really enjoyed talking with you. Guys, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. As always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and share. This is the Campfire Council Podcast.